The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to yet another feature-focused session of B1 Usability Packets. This is our fourth session and will be kind of different compared to some of the others that have gone more into specific features. This one is titled 10 kick-ass things you can do with B1 UP and the Boyan pack. So it's all about inspiration. It's about figuring out that B1 usability package is more about just buttons and mandatory fields and such things. So I have 10 things today that I would like to show you, inspire you. I won't go into very high detail unless someone wants to see some specifics in the, at the Q&A in the end. But instead, if someone wants to, they can get a copy of the database I'm showing this in, so they can get the entire setup in here. So enough talk. Let's begin of the 10 different things. And the first one we have is something I call information at your fingertips. It is a well-known fact that we have a lot of data. We have a lot of data in an ERP system, but data doesn't really matter if it's not easy to get at. By sure, I could go into my Business One and draw the sales analysis. I could do a lot of things, but if it's difficult to do, it doesn't really help. You don't really get people to do things because we are, by definition, normally lazy. So this is all about information, very easy to get to, or even better, something we work especially at in the CRM for Outlook, our other product, but also in usability packages, is that we want to put context on things. It should, in an ideal world, be able to say, I'm now at this screen, and it should automatically show the things that you need. We are not 100% there, but this one is all about trying to get a bit further down the road in order to get this information quickly, so you actually want to do it. All my demos today will almost be in sales order entirely. But again, as always with these demos, it can be done on any screen of Business One. I just chose sales order because that's normally the most used window in Business One. So information at your fingertips is all about this little button up here I have. Because when I key in a business partner, Maxitec, I have a lot of information about Maxitec. I have some hardcore information, like all the things I have on how much he owes us, how many people they are, what his telephone number is, and so on and so forth. That's the facts. I also have some information about how well is he as a customer. I can run sales reports, I can run activity reports and such things. So it's all there in the system, but it's not at your fingertips. So my inspiration on doing something like something about that is I have made a button here called customer information, or even more cool, I can make a little information button here, which is for the ones curious, is just using an UDF line here that is not data bound and showing a little picture. And I turn that button into running a little report. In this case, a SQL report, but a kind of special SQL report, because it's a fact sheet about this customer. Behind the scenes, again, this is just a SQL report, lots of SQL. Again, you can get this database if you want to, but it's all about facts about the specific customer I'm on right now. I've only chosen 6, but you could make endless amount of facts about your customers. And I made them interactive in order that if I press this button and get this, you can see I get immediately their phone number. But I can also double click on that phone number and it will actually start my link in this case. But it could also be Skype or any other thing you can hook into Windows telephonication, and then I could call the number directly from here. I also gathered information that there are 5 employees. I could do something special about that, send out newsletters or whatever. Money, I actually gathered that they have 55 invoices and 13 of them are still open. Already there I have information about, okay, it sounds like they're not good at paying their invoices. I should probably not give them any discount or whatever that scenario means to you. And again, I can make them interactive. I can double click and just run a macro that runs the sales analysis report. So normally what you would need to do is you would need to, without this, get the customer, figure out, is they a good customer? What have they purchased? I would get the number. I would need to go to sales. I would need to go to the sales reports, the sales analysis. Remember to put in that only customer, set the correct information about the posting days and so on, and run the report. So very much easier to just double click and get the report directly from here. I can also directly see how much money they owe us, $69,000 US, and I could do anything about what that should be. It could run another report or anything. In my case, I've actually run the Dunning wizard, so needing to get told that they actually need to pay us the money. Another thing I can do is I can launch order reports, and I can also do something more than just show the same data as a report in Business One would show itself. So for example, I've made a little SQL that just calculates when was the last time they actually purchased something. Are they a very loyal customer? Do they do it all the time or not? So I actually figured out that it's on this 15th of June. I could mention that so customer reference, knowing your customer better on the phone with them tells you a lot about that you are into what the customer is actually doing. And in my case, I often have that the reference with a date. It's always nice to actually get how many days that is ago. So it's actually 99 days ago. So it gives me context. And again, if I want to have more information, in my case, I've set up a new feature in the new B1 UP, which have the option to do charting. So I actually have a chart here. This is a SQL report behind the scenes. Very simple, taking from that one customer. And it actually shows me year by year how much they have purchased. Again, can influence on how I should act with the customer, how much discount I should give them, how much special items and such. Similar, I can also get what they purchase most. So upsales, go in and say, okay, you actually purchased this printer label a lot. Shouldn't you get that also in this deal? I can put them in right now for you. And in this case, I've made a small top 10 lists again from charting, saying what they actually normally purchase in our system. So this is just 6 small things I've put into what we know about Maxitech, but it could be endless amount of things. It could be on vendors, what we normally get for discount, how often they are overdue, so we need to remember, and so on. It's only the imagination that sets the limit, but the thing about hooking it in to the dynamic data and showing things like that with additional options is a very good way of getting information directly to the customer. Okay, so that was number one. I will promise it, all of them will not take this long, but this is a very key point for me. I think it's very important to actually leverage the data you have in your system and not just have it there, because else you could just be as good without. Some screenshots on what we just saw. Let's get rid of those and get to point number two. And point number two is automation. A very key point of mine is, if it's something that could be automated, you shouldn't do it yourself. It should be something that the system automatically do for you. This kind of automation I want to show today is more about getting the mental knowledge you need in order to actually work with sales orders a bit down, so it's easier to work with. In my case, I have a lot of buttons over here, which are all about automation for me. And first one is, if I have some fixed customers I always sell for at, some people have, or some customers have a lot of different customers, then this don't make sense. But if someone have a few customers all the time, or a few vendors all the time, for example, all of you SAP partners in here, you probably always have SAP as a vendor in your own SAP database. So why not on AP invoice make a button that actually select that for your accountant instead of them needing to put it in. It's nothing special, it's just taking the web customer, the fixed number here, and put it into customer field, just a normal macro. But it can also be done for items. A very common one is we have the SQL report that can select data back. So this is what most know, and I can choose some, put in some quantities, and it will select those items back to me on the sales order. But it can also be even quicker and more advanced. So for example, if you have quick items, like a specific item that you always put in as a promotional item, or some item you always sell, you can quickly do it with a button, again, just for reference to see one of these, how it's done. So you don't see it's not rocket science to do. It's just a macro, set the item code to the specific item code that is hard-coded in this case. It could also be some work hours that you always put in, and again, these buttons can work with multiple quantities and set all fields in the system. So very easy to put in some single items. Another thing was all about this discount I talked about. It could be that every time you put in, you should put this 10 discount, and normally you set about doing this and put in on every single line. You can make buttons that will do a specific discount on any line. So in this case, I can remove the discount, or I can put it in. For background information, it's a little line loop that runs, so very easy to do. It can also be about paying in cash. Normally you would need to go up here, you would need to go to the correct tab, you would need to go here, you would need to press Ctrl B in order to move the amount over, and then OK. We can again automate such things. So just open, do all the stuff for us, and close it again. So these are very simple scenarios where we just do a few things. More advanced scenarios can be like, you can make a combo box that actually dynamically on this customer shows the top 10 items that they actually selected, and I can quickly select, I want to put this item in, I want to put this item in, and so on. I can also, of course, do multiple items like a printer and a paper and put those both in. And I can even go way beyond that and make templates for an entire system. So I can, for example, go in and say, I have a template on how to set a printer with text lines and subtotals and so on. it can all be scripted with macros. I even have a more advanced one here that's put in more additional text lines and subtotals. So if you are, or your customer is a kind of sales department that does it the same time all the time with some specific text lines, some specific items all the time, and then you go in and tweak what the discount should be, what the quantity should be, what and so on. But why not automate the rest of it? Okay, so that's automation. Moving on, we have something called a splash of color. Not the most functional thing, but we are very famous for our small flags up here that shows where the customer is from. So that gives a little color. And we're also known for our mandatory fields. You can make them colorful so you can actually see where they're at. But it doesn't need to stop there with those two things. I've made the button up here in a color, of course, so that's kind of a gimmick, of course. But colors can also be used in a much more advanced fashion. So for example, I have a sales order here and the delivery date is overdue. So I have dynamically made that red in order to actually see that. While if it's already delivered, I can make it green, and if not delivered, not overdue, it will be black. A very known sample as well we also have, I don't have it in this system, it could be if the account balance is above your payment, your credit limit, for example. Again, also things that can very easily be done. So colors can do this, but you can also do other things with, this is kind of goes back to information at your fingertips as well. You can see the delivery date label up here. I actually also manipulate that. So I know now that this means it's 19 days overdue. And if I put in another date, like the 5th, it will tell me it's 17 days overdue. And if I put in the date of today, it's not overdue yet. Or definition, it needs to go out very soon. So I can do things like that and get it back and forward in order to tell when things are overdue, when things are not overdue in the system. And many people don't realize that the labels are just as easily manipulated and worked with in the system. In my case, the way it works here is if we go to the validation and we go into data load of the screen, it will check if the date is less than today, to check if it's due or it's good, and if it's overdue, it just runs a macro that, based on the doc status, checks if it should be red or if it should be green. Okay, you need to learn this SQL. You need to do it like this. But the 4-color is very easy to do, and here you also have how I actually calculate the due date, just taking some date differences between the dates. So in that regards, it's very easy to take your labels and turn them into information. You could also have it that every time you choose the business partner, if it's very important that you always call your business partner, you could make that the telephone number was in up here next to the customer field. So you also always had it on screen, and then you could actually again make this label. You can also script that, so you could double click that and it would call the customer, or directly just call the customer if you double clicked on this field. Again, the limitations are endless. It's not only about the open fields. It's not about only the edit text and the values. It can also be about the labels. Another example of that, I don't have it in the system, but just as reference, real life scenario, we had a customer who used chart of account, of course, and in chart of account they used the foreign name here because they had a parent company that had some different names for the chart of accounts. And that's well and good that you can have these, but when you hover the mouse over this or it's selected, you cannot really see that foreign name unless you go into account details. So what we did for that customer was every time you selected something in this in the matrix down here, it showed the name in parentheses after the name field down here. So you could just have the name, very easy to do that. Took me 10 minutes to do, so very easy again. So see labels as, or static text as they're called, as places for information as well, in order to get all the information just as you need it. Close all this and get back to the slides. So again, here's the standard. Here's some enhanced version with mandatory fields, macros, and things. Point number 4 is, we saw a little about it already at Information at Your Fingertips, is about charting. I won't go into much details today about charting because the next feature focus session in 2 weeks is actually all about this feature. But you can do charting, and you can do all kinds of charting in here. I showed the top 10 items and some purchase history, but you can also do pie charts and different things in here. As a note, you need to be on the latest B1 UP because it's a brand new feature in the system. So once you have that, you can begin to do this. And they have a lot of e-learning already if you cannot wait for the feature focus session on how to do this. But just for the live system, I have a few reports down here where you can actually see they are interactive, show the data. The system with pie charts and such things that I can actually, if you want to go completely nuts and make them into 3D pie charts and such things. But again, all about next feature focus session or the e-learning right now. But just that you have the options. And as a bonus, if you have CRM for Outlook, our other product, you can actually show these same reports directly in Outlook now if you have both products. Moving on, we have custom search. And custom search is all about the B1 search. So if I turn on B1 search here, it's all about this little search toolbar, and you can search for different things. But what you can search for out of the box is something we have defined. So we have decided what fields you can search for in a document, what lines, and so on, and actually what you can search on. And sometimes we get, why can't I find this? Because I want to be able to search on some field that is localization specific, or it's something that we didn't think would make sense to search for, but you think it's very good to search for. So what you can do is you can actually customize search. If you go right click, you can go into the search customization. And in here, there's all the different searches that you have in the system that you can set up, so set some permissions on. Should the users be able to see it or not? But you can also make your own. I've made one here because right now we don't have that B1 search can search in journal entries, but I've made it so it can do that. So I think I have something called my test. So I can search for my test, and it will actually find me all the journal entries where the remark says my test. So completely like the rest of the system, with a name here, the text and the golden arrow, and it's very customizable. You need to basically write the SQL, and where you want to put in the search term, you put it in like this, and you can control what it should be called down here. Journal entries, that's the name up here. The group name, which is this, you can control. And you can also control what this should look like. So that's told that the number I will take out, and then I will take the ref date and the memo and put that out as a link. And finally, you can go in and set the universal function to say, when I press the golden arrow here, activate the journal entry screen, go to find mode, set the screen to the result of what we have searched for, and click for our system. So I've done this for journal entries, but imagine you can actually do this for other add-ons as well. You can do it for the big vertical solutions you have in the system, and you can make custom searches inside those and have macros script that you go to their screens. We have done it as a demo in the e-learning for Recurring Invoice, our tool inside B1UP, but you can do it for any screen, for any add-on you want to. So it's just about going in and setting up the searches. And again, if we also have a search like we search on documents, if our search is not good enough, you can make a specific search on how to actually search that data. So that was custom search. Number 6 is automated reporting. The automated reporting is all about B1 Printer Delivery. And B1 Printer Delivery, most people know it in the system and think it's very cool to work with. And the main case, of course, is you take some sales documents and you send it to the customer by either mail or you need to print them. So that's the main feature of B1 Printer Delivery. But there's so much more it can do actually. For example, if you hook yourself up to an SMS or fax provider that have email capabilities, you can actually send the email to them and have them turned into SMSs and faxes. So we have customers that every time they add their order, it will send an SMS, thank you for your order, to the customer based on what is on the business partner screen of the mobile number. Faxes in the same way, if you still use that, I recommend against it, but old technology. But you can also do other things like take that every time you do an order or an invoice, you should make an activity, an SAP activity, to follow up. So the sales employee can get that activity 2 days into the future. They should follow up on this specific document, and they get their normal reminders in the internal messages. It can also be some kind of manager if you don't want to roll out the approval procedure system, but you still want to get notified if someone gives too much discount or sells a specific item that they shouldn't have. You can set up that it should then go to the manager that either by email or by internal message that this and this happened in the system, you need to follow up. It can also be things like warehouse employees that gets a message in the system every time they go in and or the office go in and add the order. They can now say, okay, it's now okay to do the pick list system. So in that way, you can talk to each other. And by internal messages, I mean these messages up here. We can actually make such messages when you do the printer delivery. And of course, you're not limited to only one of these at the time. You can say send it by email, follow up an activity, notify the manager in an extreme manner, and send the warehouse employees. It can all be done in one go. Another thing it can do is by its server component, you can make things like weekly activities. It doesn't need to be about the customer. It can be like we do internally, that every Wednesday our sales employees, they get a mail saying what kind of what they have overdue in terms of opportunities, quotations, and activities. So they need to follow up on. It can be monthly CEO reports with state of the business, whatever you want. You have the full power of Crystal, of course. But it can also be something like absence reports, again, live example from internally. Every month it will gather up all the absence that our people have or HR have put into the system, and it will automatically send out a nice PDF listing all the absence to an external party that handles that HR absence in terms of salaries and so on. So we started out with these 2 boxes, but you can see you can put endless amount of other boxes into B1 Printer Delivery. So look at how you use B1 Printer Delivery today and see if you cannot get even more out of it. And because every time you put in more of this, it's upsells for you to the customer. More configurations need to be done and more crystals, so they get inspired that they can actually do even more than just sending out those invoices. Number 7 is a quick one. Eliminate. Again, if something isn't used, why is it there? Famous image on the internet on how Apple does things, how Google does things, and how our things end up normally. So in an ERP system, you have, for example, the item master data. I've been going through the system and figured out that you actually have up to 300 data entry fields on an item master data. And you don't use all of them by any stretch of the imagination. You perhaps use 50, 10, 50, 100, all depending on how complex the customer is, but I will bet you that no one is using every single field all the time. So why not do something about this? In my system, I have a bit extreme, but just to prove the point, I've made my item master data into this. I have 9 fields left. I have the item number, description, group, price list, the price, and what kind of item they are, and then the matrix left. It's all done by item placement tool. It takes a little while to get rid of all the fields and hide them away, but you can do it. And why have something that's not used in the system? I've made it smaller, so this is a very optimized way if you can live with only those fields. In reality, you might end up with a few more fields, but still you can really eliminate a lot of noise, a lot of space around all the important things in the system. Number 8 is not something I can live demo because it's all about some sounds. It's about that you can actually interact with third-party things like sounds. So gimmick setup is that every time you do an invoice, it will say ka-ching. Very easy to do. Just a validation when you add, run Windows Media Player in the background, hidden, and run a specific WAV file. Credit memo, exactly the same. You can boo at the user doing it. Okay, might not do this with a customer, but to prove a point, and it's not all fun and games. It can have practical applications. For example, in a warehouse PC that makes a sound every time a purchase order is ready to be entered, or whatever kind, or it's entered and the next workflow should go along. And also similar, if you have some USB control things like lights and cameras and such things, if they have command line applications, you saw in here, it's just command line external launcher. If they can be triggered, it could be that the camera should snap a fixed picture of a box you have in front of you where you pack all the things as documentation that you actually put it in the box when you send it to the customer. Only the imagination can stop you here. If it's something that can be run with a command line somehow, you can do it in the system. Number 9, bit of a boring one and a bit of a rehash from last feature focus session. Value of correct data. is something that's very important in the system. In my case, it's just a simple one that every time you update the sales order, it will check if all the lines have some values. So if I go in here and take the sales order, key in some data here, and forget to put in a unit price, I can set it up so it will actually tell me which are missing in the system. So validations is not only about the mandatory fields, it can be so much more. It could be that a field have a correct structure, that it has a value. All these kinds of things can also be done. Boring compared to some of the other bit more flashy things, but very important as well. Final thing, it's not something I can take credit for. Someone out there, and I found it on the internet, made this during a training session a few years back. And it's damn cool. Perhaps not something you can give to the customer, but just as a final inspiration of, this is not only about what you do normally. You can do much more with the very open-ended system of B1UP. So with the final one, don't make it for the customer, else they lose their productivity. Is someone out there have made tic-tac-toe with SQL reports? It's just in here and it's fully functional. So I can play here and okay, I want to take this with O and then yeah, and I'm bad at this, so let's make player X1. So yeah, it's again not something that's productive for the customer, but still the flexibility that you can actually build a game using just macros, SQL report, and so on is a bit telling about that you can do more than just meet the eye normally in the day-to-day scenario. So this is what I wanted to inspire you on. We get into Q&A session later, but now it's your turn to go out to the customer and inspire in this way. Again, I can give this database to anyone who wants it. Just write the support email and I will send it. But it's your turn to inspire. If nothing else, if you cannot sell this to the customer, then if nothing else, use it in the demos. Colors is good for demos, making people see that you really have control over the system and you can do so much more than just what a normal ERP system can do, action, so will make them more sure of Business One by itself. So go out, inspire. Don't only make what the customer asks for. Show them what you can do. Show them what skills you have in the system. So with that, I will go on to questions if there's any. I can also go in and show a specific feature I showed today in more details. We have the time if needed. While we wait for the questions to come in, a quick reminder, the next feature focus session will be on SQL reports. I told about the charting, but also a bit additional in the system. One special thing to note is there will be a new date for this. It haven't been sent out yet. We will inform you, but the normal date was the 6th of October. For some scheduling reasons, it needs to be on the 5th instead, so that's Monday instead of Tuesday. But you will be notified if you already signed up, or else sign up for this because there's really some cool things you can do with this charting. And with that, let's go to questions. There's one question on exactly how to get this sample database. The way to do it is write a mail to support@boyum.dk support-it.com. I could show the link on screen, but it will be annoying to get by. So send a mail to support@boimit.com. Just say, I want a copy of the sample database from today's feature focus session, and I will send you a link on how to get it. You need to be on some fairly new versions of SQL Server, and it's basically the last thing of everything. So SQL Server 2014, Business One, patch level 9.1, patch level 9 that just came out, and the latest version of B1UP. But once you are there, you can run all this because it's brand new technology, some of the things I showed today. So I hope that answered the question, and I'm waiting your email. Any other ones have questions or want to see some of the things I showed in more details, how some of the SQL's written or anything? Just write in the chat or unmute yourself. You can do either. It doesn't seem to be that there are any questions. Are anyone furiously writing right now a question? No. Again, same email if you have some questions in the system. So if no further questions, I would like to thank you for letting me inspire you in what can also be done with usability packets. So again, thank you. Hope to see you at the next session. And also, there's a question if this is being recorded. It is, and it will go out to YouTube once it's converted from this webinar into something YouTube understand. It will be a little later today or tomorrow. It will be there. So share it with your colleagues so we can get the most people to do the most things with B1UP. And with that, I will say thank you for attending, and you may disconnect at this time.